I would like to start by sharing a little bit about my journey as a dreamer. So, as a child, I've always been told that Hugo has his head in the clouds. He's too easily distracted all the time by anything or everything. And they called me hyperactive. So, I'm not going to deny that I was probably hyperactive, but I want to emphasize that I was hyper indeed. But maybe I was hyper stimulated and hyper aware. And anywhere I would look at, it had countless opportunities and everything could unfold into an adventure. And being raised as an only child, it was easy for me to just get myself entertained for hours. And I didn't need much. So dreaming and playing, it was my nature. It was natural to me. It was easy. And I feel like many of us can relate to this as children, right? But because I needed to have better grades at school, I found myself forcing myself to bring this nature into the background and allow it to become more of a second nature. Luckily, my mother kept pushing for my creative expression, so she allowed me to continue dancing, and I ended up becoming a circus artist. So I continued to have that artistic outlet in my life. And it wasn't until later, much later, when I was a young adult, that I experienced the loss of a friend that departed us too soon. And that really did something to me, and it really shifted something in me. I always had very vivid dream experiences and intense dreams growing up. But a few months after the passing of my friend, I had this very vivid dream where I spoke to my friend, and it felt like it was something different. And that really touched something else in me. And when I woke up, I really knew that there was a different type of dream and that I was overwhelmed with grief for the week to go. And I didn't know what to do with that. Um, and just a little pause here. How many of you have that one friend that you like to turn to and tell about their dreams and just share with your dreams? Give me a little, yes. Raul, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
some
I know.
intense dreams.
So no exception for me here. I'm exactly the same. And so I reached out to my friend who I knew was studying dreams and learning from them. And she offered me a full interpretation of the dream. And then she guided me through interactive resolution of the dream. And after it was like the weight of the world was lifted off my chest. And I really was left with this openness and this peace and this resolved feeling in me. And I really knew that there was something more to this to be done here. And this friend is here today. So for that, I'm eternal grateful that she put me on this path. And since then, in that moment, I actually saw that wound in me heal in front of my eyes. It's like I could see it. And having experienced that movement, I knew I need to continue this. And since then, I've been learning more and more about this dream practice and how to work with dreams. And this became more of my path as well. So I wanted to share with you something. What are dreams? So dreams are, oops, here we go. Little. So dreams are defined as a sequence of sensations, images, thoughts, and emotions, and they are going through a sleeping person's mind. So this is our base. And dreams will take place on REM sleep, REM. So it's the rapid eye movement sleep. And it's also called paradoxical sleep and desynchronized sleep. And it's called desynchronized sleep because it shares this similarity to our waking state where the brain is producing low voltage, rapid, desynchronized brain waves. So already here, there's a similarity between dreams and our thoughts. So the REM sleep alternates with deeper levels of sleep or non-REM sleep. And this will last for periods of more or less 90 minutes per sleeping pattern. So we'll not be dreaming throughout the whole night. And something interesting about the paradox in paradoxical sleep is that while we're dreaming, our brain is hypersensitive and stimulated and aware of the brain stimuli. But due to muscle tone relaxation, we lose our cognitive response to those stimuli. So basically put, we are dreaming, we are super aware, but it's like we're paralyzed from the neck down. Did anyone ever experience having a nightmare and waking up and feeling like you cannot even move your arms or you cannot speak? Yeah, I see some heads nodding. Yeah, some hands going up. Yeah, so it's due to that paradox of deep muscle tone relaxation. And something we want to become aware of is that every single body dreams. So not remembering our dreams means that we're not becoming aware during this REM state of dreaming. So when we start to work towards remembering our dreams, it will actually become easier for us to remember our dreams when we're about to fall asleep, in that transition period of falling asleep, or the transition towards waking up, because those are the moments where our awareness is either fading out or fading in. So we're becoming more aware of that. And remembering our dreams becomes then a practicing of remembering and getting more aware of dreams. So if dreaming at night shares a direct similarity to being awake, what would be the equivalent, or what could we consider as dream while being awake? So go ahead and write it down on the chat box. Let me read from you. Or if you just like to speak up and share. So we have
Sorry, Hugo.
fantasizing, imagination, spacing out. Yes,
Can
Hakim?
you repeat the question? Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
Yeah. So if dreams already have a connection between our waking state, what could we consider similar to that while being awake? What would we name that? And we have daydreaming, deep meditation, visualization, yeah, daydreams, mental imagery, and experience. All right, that's great. So all of this from a range from intrusive thoughts, daydreams, drifting thoughts, imagination, projections, and also what we call dreams, our wishes and goals and ambitions, but also these deeper states of relaxation and meditation and awareness, those will all become part of this package in which we are experiencing an image, thoughts, emotions, and sensations, right? So all of this will have a similar relation to our night dreams, and they also share something in common, which will be a root in our subconscious mind. So let's see, what is the subconscious? So there are 3 levels to the mind, and we will have the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious mind. So the conscious, simply put, would be our awareness, our thoughts, and our actions. Then the subconscious mind is that part of consciousness which is currently not in our focal awareness. And it occurs automatically, and it has an impact in our conscious mind, so in the way we act and react. The subconscious mind is, we could call that, which is hidden from us, the secret spot of the mind. It also occurs automatically. It's not fully accessible to our introspection, and it's also defined as the deep recesses of our past and our memories. So if we look at this image of the iceberg, we could also look at the mind from that perspective, being that our conscious mind will be the tip of the iceberg, what we can see. The body of the iceberg and the water would be the subconscious, and the unconscious would be the water and all its depth that encompasses the whole iceberg. So in the purpose of this webinar, let's look at all of these night dreams and daydreams as part of our conscious and our subconscious. And our conscious and subconscious are part of the unconscious. So it all becomes the same mind. Subconscious, unconscious, and conscious will all be one mind. So in the purpose of that, we start to look at our dreams as one reality and no longer that separation between what we're not aware of during the night and that which we are aware of during the day. So becoming all one reality is something that we want to become more aware of, interact with, and learn from. So what are we becoming aware of? We want to become more conscious during our subconscious periods. That being, for example, becoming more aware either while we're dreaming or what's going on within our dreams. And then we want to allow our subconscious to start informing our consciousness when we're awake. So we want to allow those drifting thoughts to start informing us, and we want to start paying attention to those. And with this perspective, the subconscious mind becomes this source in which we can tap into to learn and to grow and to heal. And I don't know if you remember the old-fashioned radios. My grandmother used to have this radio that I'd like to play with as a child. So I remember when I turn it on, it often lands in this white noise space in which I can hear a little bit of melody, but also a little bit of an interview going on somewhere. And then I fiddle with the knobs to tune in to where is it that I'm actually listening to? Is it the melody? Is it the interview? So there's here this choice aspect. We need to tune in to this reality, and we need to actually tune into what is it that we're starting to listen to. May it be our night dreams, may it be our daydreams, and what we're becoming aware of during the day. So what is it that we're actually learning about working with our dreaming? We're actually learning about ourselves. So I'd like to share with you this quote, which is, "As above, so below." As I go about my day, I go about experiencing, living, seeing things, and I'm absorbing, I'm collecting, I'm taking in images with information, may it be sensorial, emotional, rational, and I'm storing that on my conscious awareness and also in my subconscious awareness. Then when I go to sleep at night, my subconscious will start processing all that is left unprocessed or undigested from my day, and will play a movie for me of what is it that I've been experiencing on my day or that I've been accumulating with me. So as above, so below for us here today becomes this perspective on what I experience in my inner awareness is a mirror of my outer experience. And my outer experience has a direct impact in my inner reality, which then becomes also my outer reality because it's just one, right? It's all part of the same with different levels of awareness. So they are intertwined, but they are not locked. So by paying attention to what is the necessity either in my night dreams or in my daydreams or experiences, and I address that need, I will shift that paradox and I will see my reality change. So this is where this aspect of tuning in and choosing becomes really important. It's a choice. We have to choose this movement in order to have that shift of paradox. Have you ever heard the expression, we are what we eat? Yes? So the same goes here. We are what we dream. And in this perspective, I would like to share an example with you. So this is a fictional example. So let's look at this story and imagine it either as an experience or as a dream. So John has just started a new job a week ago and is about to meet the big boss in his first meeting tomorrow morning. On the next day, the alarm doesn't go off and he wakes up in panic and has to rush to work. He arrives to the bus station and the bus has just left the station. So he jumps on a taxi and there's a lot of traffic because there's an accident on the road. So he arrives to the job late, stressed, and then he remembers he needs to get coffee to the boss. But even though something inside him tells him to do it, he feels like he's too late, so he decides not to do it. He gets to the meeting, he apologizes for the delay, the boss asks for the coffee, he doesn't have it, the boss gets angry, and he gets fired. So what type of dream would we call this? Either write it on the chat box or unmute yourself. I see some cringing aspects. Tessa says a stress dream, a bad dream, anxiety, nightmare. Yeah, you're right. We're all in the color of that. Insecurity is coming up. Now imagine what type of dream would John have going to bed that night? Probably not a very light and positive dream, right? Yeah, probably would have a nightmare. So how are the colors of our day influencing the colors of our dreams? If we have a very stressful day and very busy, maybe we'll have one of those dreams in which we wake up exhausted from, that we feel that we've done everything and we've been nonstop. If we go through something really intense emotionally, maybe that will lead towards a nightmare. Or if we're going through a period in our life where we're experiencing a lot of dullness, maybe we'll start having repetitive dreams. Or if we have a very peaceful, beautiful day, maybe we'll have one of those amazing dreams that we wake up energized from and feeling ecstatic about. So here, shifting the paradox, the reality would change. So maybe here, if we look at this story as a dream, the necessity of this story could be that John needed to listen to his intuition and get that coffee. And maybe we could see that this dream would unfold in a whole different way. For example, the boss would feel grateful for the coffee because their need was met and they wouldn't fire him on the spot, maybe. So again, our outer reality informs and influences our inner reality and vice versa. Addressing the need in one will have a rippling effect on the other. And that will create a movement that we as dreamers can experience within us, we can witness around us, but those around us may feel it and witness it too, because we're all connected. So here is again that idea that we need to start listening in to what are these melodies telling us, and we need to tune in to those messages in order to start addressing the need to be able to have that choice. And does everybody is familiar with Mr. Freud? Here it is, looking pretty in orange background. So Mr. Freud has said that every dream has meaning and it carries a message manifested by our unconscious processes. And The dreams are a metaphor for some disguised or repressed wish of deconsciousness. So there's an aspect of the desire, the inner desire, that becomes present to our reality here. My teacher, Catherine, used to say, with whom I've learned dreams, that each dream is like a letter sent to us. So if we don't open this letter, it's the same as throwing it away without knowing what it said. So if we start looking at our dreams, dreams will speak to us through images, and it will be sequences of images, metaphors, and patterns. And I would like to introduce to you this perspective that dreams are the language that the body understands. Because we look at images and we tend to put and assimilate a sensation or an experience to it. So we could say that images have an energy, and that energy we could call emotion, energy in motion. And that is emotion that the body can perceive. For example, if we're afraid, we'll probably contract, right? If we're scared or sad, we'll probably feel low. If we feel in love or joyous, we're open and we're radiating, right? So that's the energy we can feel. So a dream will speak to us through this imagery language. And the messages it will send to us are not to be taken directly as they are. They may not be obvious. We have to maybe read between the lines. And the more we read between the lines, the easier it gets to receive and become attuned to those metaphors. So metaphors mediate the interface between conscious and unconscious processes. It captures the essential nature of an experience, and it gives form to what may be inexpressible and allows us to describe something intangible. So with metaphoric language, we don't want to jump into conclusions too quickly. We want to use a process of interpretation or free association of words and symbols through inquiry, curiosity around the content. So for those who practice coaching here, this is where it becomes important for us to pay attention to the images and metaphors that the client is presenting to us. We want to first understand what specific words or certain images may mean for the client, what maybe emotions are connected to those images, in order for us to fully understand what the client is saying with that before we actually change or propose another image or start to work with that image. The same goes to when the client starts to share what they want to talk about or address in a session. We can also start to look at that as a dream, right? There's a whole story and a movie is playing in front of your eyes, right? We're listening, but we're also seeing what's going on. How is the client reacting? What are the images suggesting to you? How do you feel in them? How is the client feeling in them? And then we want to start paying attention to how does that relate to the desire and the wish of the client's consciousness. So we want to look at dreams from the perspective of oneness. And the same as we want to look at our client from the same perspective, that they're already whole. It's all part of the being. So here, it becomes important for us to look at the dream from the lens that all aspects of the dream are aspects of the dreamer. So how many of you have dreamt of someone and then you decided to call them and either check on them to see if they're well or just to tell them that you dreamt about them? Yes? I'm not alone here, right? Yes. So in reality, we are dreaming about what this person represents in us. It doesn't mean that we cannot reach out and connect to them and check, because maybe there is something that is meant for us to be learning or reaching out and connecting with from that person. But from the starting point, we want to look at it as a part of us, something meaningful in us already. So as we go about looking at our dreams, we want to check on the meaning of places, objects, people, and we want to use this free association. So this free association means looking at that first thought, first image, first feeling that comes up. We don't want to let too much space or too much rational action going on around it, because maybe we're pushing it away from that subconscious spark that we could be becoming more in tune with. So as we pay attention to the emotions going through the dream, we're actually becoming more aware of how is it that we are navigating the experience. May it be the coaching situation or how the client is navigating their story, or may it be how I, in my own dreams, am navigating my own reality. And then as we expand on the meaning of these things, we want to then elevate ourselves from the details and the content of the story. So if we were to revisit the nightmare from before, John's experience, I could interpret it as the dreamer of this dream, I'm experiencing the beginning of something new. I have the feeling of being late and running and rushing to my destination. Something keeps holding me back, though, as I don't listen to my intuition to nurture that which will energize me and wake me up. I am faced with the powerful aspects of myself that don't accept this behavior. So how did I get to this interpretation here? For example, coffee for me is what wakes me up in the morning and something that gives me energy and also a lot of pleasure. I love coffee. So here I elevate it from the coffee content to that which gives me energy and wakes me up. And also, the boss for me here represents my inner authority. So I'm talking about that inner authority that doesn't accept the fact that I don't listen to my intuition to do that which will wake me up and give me energy. So as humans and as coaches, we want to start becoming more curious and more creative. And this creativity will activate a new type of listening for us, which is creative listening, which is listening through images as well. So why is it that we dream? We dream to reach our wholeness, to really get to know who we are and how we're navigating our experience, and expand our awareness about ourselves. And we want to enrich our perspective about our reality, and that will empower our choices. So we want to make more aware and empowered choices. And we want to allow that to bring us to a different type of presence, not just with our clients, but in our lives and with those around us, a presence of fullness, of wholeness. So how is it that we work with dreams? I have some tips to suggest. So wait a second. So how do we actually start working with our dreams? Sorry, just give me a second. I need to adjust something here. All right. So we can start by simply having a reflective practice, either around our night dreams or our sessions, so that we start to become more aware of how is it that we're paying attention to our patterns, may it be as coaches, may it be as dreamers. If you don't remember your dreams at all, then we want to start to set an intention to remember our dreams. And you can do that by opening a notebook or your dream journal, something that is special to you for the purpose of remembering the dreams. And you write down the date of the next day, and you can write at the top, remember dream, or ask a question to the dream, and then you leave the pen in it. And if you happen to wake up during the night, at the beginning, it might be useful to just write down a few bullet words that will help you remember that in the morning when you wake up. Then when you do wake up in the morning, how many times have you dreamt and decided that, oh my God, that was such an exciting dream, and I need to look at that later. And then later comes and you just don't remember it. Has that happened to you? Yeah, right. So we want to write down the dream while it's still fresh. So in the morning as you wake up, you want to write it down. Then you can also make it easier for yourself. At the beginning, make it a schedule for you. Choose when will it be easiest for you to remember your dreams. So maybe choose those nights in which you know you won't have to wake up so early in the morning, maybe a Friday night if you're not hangover or partying, just to make it easy for you to wake up in the morning a bit fresher, relaxed, and you can write down your dream. So we want to make it easier for ourselves at the beginning. Then we want to slow down. And slow down here means we want to slow down our flight or flight response. So as we have stressful lives and busy days, we want to get to the nighttime and start slowing down, maybe disconnecting and starting by maybe just doing some breath awareness, mindfulness, maybe some restorative yoga or yin yoga, something that will slow us down to prepare us to have more restorative nights, restful evenings, but also allow us to have less stressful dreams, more clearer dreams, as we would call it. Then we also want to, from there, we want to change our perspective and take ownership. So that means that when we look at our dreams, we want to take it from that wholeness perspective that all belongs to me. So we're taking responsibility for our emotional experience, either in our dreams and in our experience. Then we also want to start paying attention to patterns. May it be during the dreams or the session, what repeats, what are contradictions, what are oppositions, what comes in sets of how many numbers, what colors repeat. We want to pay attention to the things. And then also we want to bring that into our other awareness. So what from the dream has a similarity to how you've been either experiencing your past, your recent past, or how you're projecting yourself into the future, or what you just witnessed in the day. And we also want to share our dreams with others. So by making this a collaborative practice, we will be getting more insight. And by getting more insights with others, we'll also be getting maybe more awareness of different things we could do. And that may also start to inspire those you're working with and practicing with and choosing different for themselves as well. So it's an empowering practice for all involved. And we want to pay attention to the firsts, first thoughts, first images, first feelings, first sensations. And we want to expand on those. We want to use those to guide our awareness. And something also that I forgot to mention in the changing of perspectives would be to maybe work with dreams. We write them down in the morning, but maybe we work with them later in the evening or in the afternoon. So we give ourselves a little bit of space so that when we come back to them, we see them from a perspective that is fresher. So we took a step back from the dream. And dreams are from the realm of the creative brain. So if we're not having very creative experiences, then we want to go back to activate our creativity. So here it is some ideas on how to do that. We want to invite that imagination and that creativity to become our primary nature again. And to do that, we can start by simply unplugging, may it be through the night or more regularly through the week, disconnecting from our phones and our computers, especially if we don't have those dimming filters that filter the blue light of the screen, which impedes serotonin production on the brain and avoids us from falling asleep more easily. We want to stimulate our imagination, and some things we can do for that would be to read a fiction novel or read stories to children, or if you have kids around that you can play with, to play pretend and really allow the floor to be lava and you to be a hero with superpowers, and to maybe take their decisions, let them decide for you what you are, so that you really allow yourself to become it. We want to connect to nature from a creative lens. We can use that. So we know that being in nature has multiple benefits to our immune system, to our emotional systems as well. But looking at nature from a creative lens could be looking at the shape of clouds. What story does it tell you? Looking at constellations and shapes, but also looking at the roots in the bark of a tree, or the shapes around in the leaves, and what stories start to emerge for you as you look at those. We want to activate and develop creative practices, and we want to do that maybe at the beginning through a framed time, maybe setting a timer for 5 minutes to start with, and maybe just putting some music on and just dancing like a wild being, allowing yourself to be moved by the music. Another way that I really love is automatic writing. So opening up a book and just writing for 5 minutes in a row without thinking about what is it that you're writing, just letting that stream of consciousness go through, or allow that through drawing. And you just let yourself draw. And if you have other creative practices that nourish you and feed you, go ahead and connect to those. So as dreamers, as coaches, as human beings, we want to use the dreamer mindset to learn and to hold space. We want to expand the mind by not having a fixed outlook on the world. And we want to dare to go into the unknown, grow, learn, and heal where we don't feel comfortable. And we want to use dreams to reach wholeness, our wholeness. We want to become more present and creative in our lives, and therefore more present and creative with those around us. So yes, thank you for being with me and experiencing this webinar with me. I'll pass it back to Azadeh.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, yeah, I'm seeing yay in the chat box, and that's how I feel right now inside. Wow, that was quite, I mean, that was really fascinating. Thank you so much, Hugo. And there's so many things that come into my mind that I kind of want to bring forth as not just a question, but comments, but I'm sure that many of you might have the same thoughts. So now is the time where we can raise our hands and start discussing with Hugo. So I will, if it's all right, I'm gonna start off by asking you, Hugo. You know, I'm really fascinated by two things. One that you mentioned around stimulating our creativity and curiosity, which is something that really, you know, resonates with me in the coaching realm as well. So I'm just curious to know, you know, as you started leaning into these two worlds, the parallels of coaching and the working with the imagery, what are some things that, you know, really came up for you, or you thought, wow, this, you know, this, let's say, transformative coaching approach really ties in well with what you do? What was it where you saw that overlap?
Thank you, Azadeh. And yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone who's giving such support in the chat box before I go ahead. I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you all for that. And for me, it's been a really interesting journey to see two different worlds that I thought were black and white, complete opposites, actually share so much in common. Because especially in the CMA, we're working with this transformative approach to draw learning for the client, right? The client is learning about themselves through the session. So I really feel like it's from the realm of that subconscious. We're really learning to listen to what is unconscious or subconscious to the client as well. So to have already that idea of the images, or that practice with the images, and to see it then with the whole methodology on how to listen, it really just felt like one big tool coming together. And as I start to practice it and put it in place, I really start to see how deep the transformation can go for the client. For example, to use and work with their own metaphors and let them build and see it. And I really start to see that movement in them change, and that energy shift, and their images transform. And to be able to see that without me being the one bringing the image or putting something on top, sometimes is just life-giving. And when clients don't bring their images because maybe they're too reflective in a different way, to see how like just putting it as an image, how it really shifts and transforms the whole experience for the client as well. So for me, it's really been this journey of seeing these two beautiful oceans merge into one.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, that's so beautiful. I really love that how what I'm hearing is like a deeper listening, and also so getting to know the person before you, whether it's a client that we have or a listening partner, by listening deeper, and then also by listening to how they are seeing their world through the images that they're using, and allowing them to see how they see their world. Wonderful. So share with us, this is your time, everybody, to take this opportunity to ask Hugo any questions that you have, or share what are some things. I see Hakeem has his hand raised already. Go ahead, Hakeem.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Again, quick question. Do you share both your nightmares and your good dreams with someone? Because you said it's important to share. Now, do you share both nightmares and good dreams, or just the good dreams?
I would share all dreams that I feel comfortable sharing with. So I would give that back to you if you would feel comfortable sharing a specific nightmare or not. Because the purpose of working with dreams is to learn and see what is there for us. So I would share any type of dream with someone else and just be in that receiving on on that learning perspective. But of course, this is not a rule, so you're free to do what speaks to your heart.
Okay, cool. Sorry, can I just give a quick shout out to my mom, Greta LaRocca, and my little sister, Gabriela LaRocca. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Nice
Wonderful.
to see you all here. So happy that you made it.
That's wonderful. So I saw a few raised hands. I just want to, I saw Sarah's hand raised before. Sarah Al-Zawawi, did you have a question, or was that just an acknowledgement or wave? I'm not sure.
No, I was just congratulating Hugo
Oh.
because I really enjoyed his the learning that he has for us today. And maybe I have a short example to give as how you can, it's very possible to get in touch with your dreams and then becoming part of your reality, because I actually did the opposite. I told myself that I didn't want to dream, so because I was so aware of them on a daily basis, and I just felt exhausted. And I was like, oh, too much every day. So now I still dream, but it's actually when I need to do something. And so maybe I've become more aware on a daily basis. So then it's just minimized to when I haven't done something or looked at something that I need to look at. And that's, the odd day where I do dream. And then I sit with it and see what that is connected to in my daily life. But yeah, it definitely works. It works both ways. It's like you can turn it on and you can turn it off, from my experience.
Wonderful. Hugo, is there anything you want to share to that?
Yeah, maybe in this turning on and off, we can also tune in the type of awareness we have to those and how our choice becomes part of it. See, again, that mirror image, how one is influencing the other. So during the day, becoming more aware of those images, then see how they unfold during the night, so that also there's a choice there. And of course, if ever it becomes too much, then just choosing those times in which you want to remember the dreams. And sometimes they'll rebel against you and they'll just happen anyways. So maybe you'll just have to pay attention when they come or not.
And what about when they are not coming? For instance, it's our subconscious that is giving us some message, you know?
It could be that
I have some periods that I can't remember. I know that I'm dreaming a lot because I'm getting really tired, but I cannot remember, you know?
yeah, and maybe
So-
that perspective from the daily experience mirroring onto the dream. Maybe I'm experiencing something that I don't even want to remember. And then that also mirrors to my dreams, or I am so tired that I don't have energy to have that awareness. But then it becomes this practice. Remember, it's a muscle we want to practice with, of setting the intention to remember the dream, not only to dream, because we will dream anyways. It happens for everyone, regardless as being aware of it or not. But we want to set that intention to remember the dream. And then it's about practicing that, either a little bullet here and there during the night, or straight away in the morning, writing down one sentence. Maybe one day is just a word. Maybe second, third day will be a sentence and a half. And then from there on, it will start to create that connection, because we're also planting that intention to remember the dream in our subconscious mind. So as we want to partner up with the subconscious wants to partner up with us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I'm mindful of the time, and I just want to open up. Is there any other sharing or question that you have for Hugo before we wrap up this beautiful session for today?
Actually, I had one that I put in the chats. Hugo, do you have any recommendation of resources for dream interpretation? Or you just make your own interpretations?
I would definitely would like to then share, I'll write it down. I hope I'm spelling it all correctly.
Yeah, so I think, okay.
Sorry, this would be the book of this dream practice that I've been learning for many years now, which is has a more holistic approach to it, but you can then do with that how you wish. So the Kabbalah and the Power of Dreaming by Catherine Shaneberg, and there are other books from her as well, and I really resonate to this approach. So this would be the one that I would recommend first and foremost. Not saying that it's the ultimate one, but it's the one that I practice and that I would love for you to experience as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I want to confirm to what Anna and Hugo were discussing earlier on about whether, setting the intention about whether you want to have it or not have it. But for me, it was interesting to see. I haven't engaged with this topic. I found it really interesting, but maybe I have not really explored it. But having spoken to Hugo a few times, it was already interesting for me to see how when he was sharing and I connected with this topic, I started becoming more aware of the dreams. So if you are more aware of your dreams, if you're curious, there's something and I think we have the person here to support you or support us, feel free to reach out to Hugo and to become curious, because for one thing, I think what it awakened in me is, again, that curiosity to learn more about ourselves. And it seems like this is yet another little door, another little source that we can open up to find out a little bit more about who we really are. So Thank you, Hugo, for making that available to us today. So such a fresh and amazing topic that you presented coming from your heart. So thank you for that.
And yeah, thank you, Azadeh, for this beautiful hosting and holding up the space. I feel very held. Thank you so much to everyone who is here supporting and being curious. And I wish you all great dreams. And I also would like to thank Coach Masters Academy for this opportunity. I'm really grateful. So thank you so much, everyone.
Do we have a time for a quick question?
Yes, go ahead, Rahul. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm unable to switch on my video for some reasons. But thanks for this wonderful talk, Hugo. I think the question that I had was, like when you said about forgetting about the things that we are recollecting as soon as we get up. Isn't it true for many other things while the subconscious mind is operating, like while having a bath or playing with a kid or while driving? We get a lot of ideas and we think that once we are done with this, we'll go back and write it. It's hard to recollect. Is it that we are kind of dreaming while we're conscious during these activities?
So dreaming is one reality for us today, right? As dreamers, we're constantly dreaming is the fact of us being aware of it or not. So when we have those insights or those moments of awareness of that idea, we want to take best advantage of it. And especially if we don't have this practice of working with the subconscious, they might just dissolve and fade into the background. They may return as a night dream or not, but as you're having those insights, maybe you just want to take a little note of it or find your own system to stay close to it, because we may lose an opportunity to then have that tuning in and then that choice to empower our actions. So if you're becoming aware of those moments and they happen to you on a regular basis, I would just invite that, that more awareness around it and to collect those more often and then actually move towards them and see what unfolds.
Thanks for that. That's an interesting perspective I got to know. I do have this practice while I'm driving. If I have some insight, I pull my car by a side and make sure to just make 2 to 3 pointers of this thought so that I can recollect it later. Thanks for this.
And please keep safe. Don't text and drive.
No. That's the reason I said I pull my car by side and then do it. Thank you.
Yeah, just a little disclaimer for safety.
Wonderful.
Your safety is more important than dreams. Otherwise, you'll stop dreaming if you die. So
Perpetual dreams.
yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you. And I just want to wrap up by saying, first of all, thank you, Hugo. I mean, you have inspired us and now we're like fired up to actually dream and see what we're going to be dreaming about. So thank you so much for this wonderful presentation today. And also, to all the guests who are here today, I just want to encourage you to please join us. There's so many lovely webinars. We have live coaching demonstrations coming up. So I've put the link in, just if you want to go look at the schedule, see what's available. We'd love to have you join us. And there's one more thing I want to share is that we are presenting an offer today for those who are interested in taking up a coach training course. And if you would like to register either from now until the month of between June and September, we are offering a one-time voucher of $100 US if you sign up. So if you're interested, you want to embark on this coaching journey as we have, then feel free to write us an email at info@coachmastersacademy.com. And I have to remember to give you a